Shalom. Welcome to the Rock, Sister Ripka,
Sister Zion.
Sister Lydia, and we just wanted to do a video. We are cooking on our wood burning stove, one of our wood burning stoves right now. And can you come a little bit closer? I don't know if you can hear the sizzling of our roasted chicken that we're doing in our cast iron pan. Can you get a close up?
Yes, ma'am.
It is boiling and sizzling and cooking good in there. And that chicken looks perfect.
Yes, it does.
So while we're heating up on this cold winter week, we just probably almost got 2 feet of snow over a course of 2 days. And we're currently in the teens right now with our temperature. So it's pretty cold outside, and we are keeping warm here in our home with our wood burning stove, one of our wood burning stoves. We have two. And I don't know if you can see the red, how red it is. Let me see if we can open it. Nice and hot in there. Keeping warm with the wood from our land and saving on propane and any other electrical or gas heating. We live off grid, so we don't use that. We would use the propane for our cooking, which we're saving that by cooking on our wood burning stove, which we already have going to keep warm in the house. So we just wanted to share that. It's much different from the people that are living in Texas right now. Some people are without electricity and water. So we're keeping warm.
And yeah, and this is a benefits too of having multiple sources of heating or cooking, or just knowing how. If everyone doesn't necessarily live the way we do, this is the benefit of being prepared and knowing many different ways to handle your everyday cooking or heating, things, necessities that you need done, instead of just relying on one source, because when that source goes out, you are left without. And that's what people in Texas is experiencing right now in some areas, because they weren't prepared, or maybe they didn't know other sources. They don't know how they're going to cook their food or how they're going to keep warm. Who knew this snowstorm and this storm was coming through, where we're having these type of temperatures in many different areas. And if you didn't know that was going to happen, like we ourselves did not know, but because we already had multiple ways of cooking and heating sources, we are able to keep warm, and we're still able to cook. Even without our propane, we are able to go outside and start a fire. Well, right now in a snowstorm, now we have this option. So, but when it wasn't snowing and it was cold, it didn't stop us from cooking out there, because all you need is the wood, and that has been our source of, and we've learned that has been our source of cooking, and we've learned how to cook that way. And so this is another reason why it's important to, have more than one way to do things, to cook, to keep warm, to bathe, all those different things. So that way, if something happens, that you will be able to still, you don't have to go without. Your family doesn't have to suffer because the electric company went out, or power outages happening, because that's what happens typically in storms.
Snow,
Yes.
and things like that. When you have ice on those power lines, they will take the power out. They will take the power out. So being prepared is not waiting like, oh, I'm prepared, or it's not the end of the world just yet, so I have time. This is one of those SHTF situations, and being prepared, you would be able to still be warm, eat, have water. So preparedness is not just for the end of the world. It's for things like this, where no one knew that this storm was going to be so widespread. I'm sure those in Texas who has not felt that kind of freeze or even ready. I believe they said people died because of this. So
And not just that, we had actually a sister in our sisters chat who's from Texas, and many others who said they've never even experienced this type of cold that is happening over in that area. So, and we've had other people say that they're experiencing their pipes freezing and they don't know what to do with frozen pipes. And if you are not thinking that your pipes could freeze and having a backup option, or you know, when you get that weather alert that lets you know that winter storms are coming,
yes,
you wouldn't even think, hey, what if my pipes freeze? Let me prepare. You know, some people don't even know to do that because you don't even know what it is.
Right.
Or if you never experienced it.
Or with like those weather alerts that you get, some people don't take them even seriously. So they just sit around like, oh, it's not really going to be that bad, you know, maybe a little snow, maybe it's going to get just a little cold. And they're plumb out of luck when it's like you had that warning. Even if nothing happened, you still got the warning, you still could prepare. But when we are comfortable and complacent, a lot of times we ignore those warnings.
What about if you can't leave? Like we live on a slope, so all this snow made it hard for us to even go. Say if we even wanted to go to store to pick something up or whatever to leave off of our property, it's the snow. All the snow has made it hard for us to even leave the property. So what if you are snowed in or you're not able to leave to go and get something that you need? Water, bottles of water, prepare food, or anything like that. What if you are unable to leave? Are you prepared in your home for you to stay for a long extended period of time? Are you prepared for that? Do you have what you need? Like for us, we're keeping extra water in the house. Whereas if it was outside, it would freeze. We're keeping extra water in the house so that, you know, when we have the wood burning stoves going and it's warm in the house, that water is able to not freeze, and we're able to use it to feed our animals and stuff like that. The water outside, the water that we put outside freezes, so we're having to keep water in our home and warm. Say if we didn't have the wood burning stoves, or say if our home was not even insulated to keep the heat in, what would we do? How would we feed our animals? Some people have lost a lot of things because they did not prepare or think ahead, or you know, think what if this happens? How am I going to handle this, or how can I prevent this type of things from, you know, causing much havoc and losing a lot of resources or losing a lot of things. So, and
may I add to that? Some of these people who are suffering that we've read on the news, some of these are mothers with children, and so this is even more so while even from this channel we talk about preparedness, and we also talk about women being covered, because in some of those circumstances, if it was just me, myself, or our sisters before we knew our master or had certain understandings, there are some of these things we wouldn't even known how to do.
Right.
But because we have a head who's looking out for us and teaching us, and then we're learning as well, we are able to work together to make sure that our family is not suffering. But when you're alone and you have children and you don't necessarily know all these areas or don't know how to prepare for all these areas when you're by yourself, it makes things a lot harder. So that's even more so for sisters too, to be covered. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about that sort of suffering because your covering will look out for you, or supposed to be looking out for you, and be that guard of protection. And it's not to say that you wouldn't know how to do anything or couldn't be a help, but he would be leading that situation.
That watchman.
Yes.
And if I may say,
I didn't know.
Yes, I sure didn't either.
Well, yeah, it makes it, if you don't come from an area that you've already had this happen once or twice and have learned from those mistakes, coming from a very cold area, you wouldn't know. So, just want to put this out there. As you see, our food is cooking. What we're saying here is just food for thought. Just for something for you to think about. And Yah willing, if there's a next opportunity that you can be prepared, take heed, get yourself prepared, because you never know. And if nothing ever happens, guess what? You're still ahead of the game.
Okay, with that being said, we hope you all liked this video and learned something from it. Shalom.
Shalom.
Stay warm.